we like this. You know, I see his mama, it's all hugs. He see my mama, it's Dub City, Mike.
What's up, man? These topics are complicated. The passion from the Black conservative, keep in mind, it's the same heart and body and the way we speak to each other. It's the same emotion, man.
We all, no matter what you think, you live in an echo chamber. You don't realize how much information you're not getting. You don't realize how much information you just started to assume is fact because you've heard it so many times.
So people become conservatives for different reasons, and I think there's different versions of the Black conservative. That MAGA movement was strong, man, and it meant a lot of things to a lot of different people.
I feel like I'm in a purple state. Like I'm right there in the middle. No, all lives matter. No, blue lives matter. It's like, well, BLM wasn't saying nobody else matters.
As a conservative, I felt the power of what that was gonna do. When your opponent, right, bust that no look 3, you're like, you gotta respect it. The best down court thing we could do is like, well, all lives matter. You can't be that offended by Candace Owens. And I would tell you, dude, there's so much that I'm like, baby girl, fall back. You not hitting the mark.
Pod is good.
All the time, baby.
And all the time.
Pod is good.
Hey, what's good with y'all, family? Everybody step on in. Step on in while I get things together. While I get it all together, step on in. Gotta welcome some new guests. How y'all doing? This is episode 3. Episode 3 of Pod is Good. And all the time. If you've been watching, you should have known what to say. If you just attend church, you should know what to say. You should get it by now. I'm your man, Cashmere, California. We have another great show with another great guest with some very interesting topics. And I can't wait. I can't wait. This is another one of my favorite people in the world. I'll give a more in-depth introduction when I get him on. A lot of things going on in the world. We'll let y'all come on in. I don't know if you're watching the video, if you're listening to this through audio, but we are broadcasting live from California. I go by the name Cashmere, California, and this is the Pod is Good podcast. We are up and running. This has been a journey so far. We got the next 10 episodes already lined up, already booked and scheduled. We done figured it out. I haven't got the timing for the show as far as, if we're going to do it every Thursday, every this, every that. So, be patient with me. Hopefully by the time you find this podcast, I done already got it together and we on like episode 60. You can go back and just binge and see the growth of the show. You know what I'm saying? That would be great for me. That would feel good to know that I've done my job as the architect of this show. This show has been so far incredibly diverse. We have talked heavily into politics, and through politics that opened up so many doors, because it wasn't just about politicians. We talked about laws, we talked about pedophilia, we talked about the court system, we talked about gray areas in the way that the laws are written. We've had conversations talking about the top 5 female rap artists, which led to some very interesting responses. Go back and check that out in episode 2. Kung Fu Sheldon is going to blow you away when you get a chance to hear his top 5. I guarantee you have not heard a top 5 list like his. I guarantee it. So go check out episode 2 if you're interested. If you want to listen to the political conversation between myself and South Central Conservative, go back and listen to episode 1. It's a very long episode, but a very detailed conversation. I didn't want to skip over anything. I didn't want to, sometimes in these conversations about facts, things can just be thrown out, and then next thing you know, it's just kind of accepted as facts. So we tried to go through. We used the Cornell law book to reference the actual legal determinations of different things. So if you're into something like that, I guarantee you episode 1 to have you locked in, and it'll have you wanting to bring him back, whether you're on the left or the right, because he was a great guest. We had an amazing time. What's been going on in the world? Sports fans, we got one. We finally got one. We got Terrence Bud Crawford going up against Errol Spence Jr. Oh my goodness, it is finally happening. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was gonna happen. I was kind of feeling like this is one of those storylines that's starting to sell itself down the river. Once I start seeing these fighters get booked for other matches with other boxers, I was like, okay, I see what this is. They're gonna do their best, make the best choices for their personal legacies and careers, but only in the direction of their stats. But no, they said stats schmats. Bring me the best. Who do y'all got? Matter of fact, I didn't do this last time. I need to open up the chat for Facebook. If you are watching on Facebook, that's cool. I love y'all. What up, Facebook fam? But I don't always get the chat. The chatters. I don't see your messages inside of my studio over here. So today I'm going to try to open up the window separately in Facebook so that I can chit chat with y'all, because I don't want anybody feeling left out. There were a lot of comments that in the last in the last episode we ended up missing out on, because I didn't know that people were in the chat on Facebook saying anything, and that kind of made me feel bad later on when I realized how much engagement and interaction was going on that I was completely missing out on. So today I'm hoping that the stream stays live. I have the Facebook chat open, so if anybody wants to chime in, please feel free to do so. My guest will be here soon, getting himself together. Ladies, I want to get some ladies on the show, because there's other topics that we need to discuss that the ladies definitely need to have their say in it. Even this top 5 female rap artists, I want to hear the females' perspective. Who y'all got? Because there's some names that still haven't come up. Like, I haven't heard anybody mention Remy Ma yet. I'm just saying, I haven't heard it. I brought up DeBrat, but I haven't really heard people mention DeBrat, Charlie Baltimore. Depending on what your tea is. What's my girl from it'll come to me later. But I need to get some ladies on the show. So let me know. Jump in the chat. Let me know if you want to get on. I can bring y'all on anytime. Anytime that we're on, obviously, and we can have some conversations. We're gonna actually do some roundtable conversations too. It's not just about me and one guest. It might just be me officiating the conversation between my guests, talking to each other. And I'm cool with that. I'm 100% cool with that. It's funny. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. You probably can't. So just a quick story about how easy it is for um, for you to procrastinate and put something off due to one issue. So let me tell you a quick story about how I almost didn't get the channel started right now. I mean, I eventually would have done it, but something that prolonged the timing of us actually beginning the Pod is Good podcast. I'm gonna let you know right now. So you can't see it because at least I don't think you can. Maybe you can. Maybe I see this. So there is if you see it, there's right up here. If you can see these red numbers, you see those? The red zeros right there? Okay. So it probably took me an additional 6 weeks of planning and preparation to start this podcast purely based on that. Purely. Like I had everything up. I mean, I had everything up since, for at least a year or so, just kind of figuring out what I was going to do, what direction I was going to go. I knew I wanted a studio. I knew I wanted a certain look, a certain vibe. I already knew all that. And so I pieced those things together. And then when it was finally time and I decided I got it, I'm ready to do the podcast. And I'm sitting here ready to jump in. And I saw this. I saw these red numbers. And those red numbers made me procrastinate starting the podcast for another 6 weeks. I'm pointing that out to say, you guys, it is very easy. It is very easy to procrastinate. It is very easy for the enemy to get involved, and you don't even realize it. You think, no, it makes sense. I don't want everybody looking at my podcast, and I don't know how to get these zeros off. I look unprofessional. I look like, we don't look like a polished show. But who really cares? If I hadn't brought it up, would y'all even care? So keep that in mind. What you think is perfection and what needs to be perfect most likely isn't the case. Most likely people don't care. They just want to they just want to be involved and support you. So please, please, please don't do what I did. Don't let something that small get in the way of, you doing your thing. And with that being said, I think I have my guest is here, I believe. I think I see him in the waiting room. I'm gonna bring him in once I see his video. I think his video is still trying to come up. But ladies and gentlemen, as I wait to make sure I get confirmation from him, uh my my guy, my guy. Words can't describe what I feel about him. We have a great long history. We have an in-depth spiritual connection, an in-depth music connection, a family connection. Like I consider him one of my family forever. Love his family. Like we like this. I see his mama, it's all hugs. He see my mama, it's all hugs. And that is what we do. That's how we do it. I mean, bring my man in the building right
What's up, Cat?
now. Dub City, Mike.
What's up, fam? It's so good to see you, man.
You as well, homie. I'm so happy to have you on the show, bro.
Yes, sir.
So happy, man. Like
I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. As soon as I seen it, I jumped in. I was watching the episodes, and like we talked earlier,
yeah,
I was trying to get my comments in. I thought like you were seeing me live, but you didn't. None of that was coming through.
none of it. And I was just saying that, like, I'm trying to figure out how I can get the Facebook chat pushed into my studio, because right now all I see is the YouTube chat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything else. And so right now I have a separate window pulled up with the Facebook Live, and I'm hoping that if anybody does, want to chime in and comment, I'm hoping I'm able to see it. Because there was a lot of engagement that I completely missed out on. Didn't even know it was happening. And me and South Central Conservative, we was just going at it. We was just going at it. So tell me, since that was our first episode and you got a chance to see it, I could tell from the comments you were definitely like, being a part of it and being entertained by it. What did you feel like as far as the conversation went? How did you feel it was conducted? did you enjoy the fact that we were actually going through reading the laws to try to get to the truth and all of that? Like, what was your breakdown of that episode?
First off, I just posted it, sharing that we live right now. So that's what that is. But
appreciate that.
And okay, it was the first episode was long, right? But but you was doing what we need to do when we have these conversations.
Yeah.
Some of that, like, happening live like that, it's cool because it's organic and you don't know what path is going to lead you down.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily the best way to get an in-depth knowledge of something, because you don't know what it's going to hand you.
Right.
The way you did it was the best by doing the long form of it.
Yeah.
But again, you could have, each one of those things you can go down,
so true,
myriad rabbit holes,
so true.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Hope that people that watch that or were live viewing it realize that these topics are complicated, and too many of us have the simple, somebody's feeding these things to us all the time. So it's like, I heard from here, and this person, I trust them because they watch the news all the time.
Yep.
They're always telling me something, so I believe what they're saying, but we don't know, the depth that they've gone to in researching this information.
Exactly.
And so it's really difficult. And I think just what you did in that short period of time, I would venture to say well over 90% of people with strong opinions haven't even done that much.
Right.
If it's not immediately just an emotion that we run off of, it's like third, fourth, fifth version hand-me-downs and we're just like going to the bank with it,
To the bank. And that's what was, he said a few things, like he's very well researched. He's into this stuff like every single day. Every time I talk to him, he's sending me videos and this and that and the other. But a lot of times I tell him, we all, no matter what you think, you live in an echo chamber. And unless you try your hardest to maybe create, like, let's say you buy a new laptop, and on that laptop, you only search certain things and certain phrases and certain, documents to where you kind of create a new echo chamber. You don't realize how much information you're not getting. You don't realize how much information you just started to assume is fact because you've heard it so many times. So when I think he said something about, there was something he said, the Democrats always promise us stuff and they've never done anything for us. And I'm like, I mean, that's so big, right? Like that's so hard to even research. But if you can try your best to bring it down, at least you can have things that you can start to identify. Like, you know what? Yeah, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. And I can see it. Then it's tangible and I can actually sink my teeth into it. But if it's just these ideas of they're satanic and they are pedophiliac and they've never done anything and they just, it becomes so big. It's like, how do you weed through that?
Righteous.
How do you weed through that?
And you know what it is? It's like the passion, especially if we just keep it like black.
Yeah.
The passion from the black conservative.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, it's the same heart and body and the way we speak to each other.
Yeah.
It's the same emotion, man, because
as
a people. So even us, because I would consider myself conservative. So I was trying to feel my man, and there's new conservatives who just hopped on, black conservatives that just hopped on, last week, last election, and then we're like around Obama and then pre that. So like each one of those, there's a slightly different thing that was happening or things that may have allowed that person to become what we would consider enlightened about political issues or just society. So people become conservatives for different reasons. And I think there's different versions of the black conservative.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not that one is like not good or what have you.
It's different.
Yeah, we're gonna have different things because like what I remembered was the 1800, right? hey, real talk. I was like, I was trying to get you, like, I wanted to hit you up on the side, like, you wrong, dude. Leave him alone in the 1800s, bro. Because he talking like it's just y'all two.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody would be like, yo, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna throw something out there. That's what I'm feeling right now. Just right off the top of my head, I don't know, like 1800.
Right.
And you was like, no. We gonna look up.
We go.
Hey, but you wrong for that, man. Because you was on it so hard though. But I understood because listen,
Yeah.
that's the same type of deal that happens if you say like, I had a bad experience, this person is racist.
Yeah.
Or this party, I don't agree with them, or they're not doing something I want, they're racist. Well, from the Black Conservative Party, we're like, yo, no, break that down. You can't just be throwing that down there because you don't agree. So again, that MAGA movement was strong, man, and it meant a lot of things to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
So I never did like that question though, right?
Yeah.
Like, when was America great? But it is an important question to have an answer to.
Right.
Whether or not that's like the main question that needs to be asked, but
right.
We definitely need to settle in. If you're going to claim MAGA, or you going to say it or support it, at least for your own self, have a definition of what that means to you. So I totally felt you, and you are one of the most logical people.
I try, man. I try.
Real talk, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, shoot. So we can dive into music for a second too, because based on just how you approach writing, you know what I'm saying? Like when you came down, anytime you spit something, like I already knew that I was gonna get something that was crafted. It wasn't no, it even when I know you flirted with styles, or you would do what is that? You would do songs for like, whether it's like opening credits or something for like film.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah.
And you would be like, I'm trying to do a certain vibe.
Yeah.
But even in that, you refuse to like dumb down the level of what you was going to present as far as lyrically, and just the quality of what you put through. So in that discussion, I definitely felt Cash, like real Cash. I feel like it was the homie just tripping on somebody else. Like, I felt it was the true homie. Like, let's craft this.
Yeah.
Right, make it tight. Give me something tight. So
I was. And what you said is very valid about how you can't just throw stuff out, because I feel like on both sides there's people that are very passionate emotionally, and you get to the point they don't realize they're just throwing stuff out. And so what you're saying is right. You don't know who's listening. So if, like I said in the beginning, I feel like I'm in a purple state. Like I'm right there in the middle. There's a lot of me that's conservative. There's parts of me that are liberal, but as it gets more extreme, you get further and further away from me on either side. And so, but let's say you're talking to somebody else and they say, well, when was America great? And you say, well, 1800s. And they just hold on to that. And then, like the game of telephone when we were kids, it's like as it gets passed down and passed down and passed down and passed down, and it finds its way in different circles. Next thing you know, somebody's like, yeah, when they first started MAGA, they were going to put MAGA 1800s, because that's what, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It will inflate. And then the person that said it is like, I don't even really know why I said it. I just kind of thought, maybe I was thinking of one thing, like maybe I was thinking of gas prices, and I'm like, man, the 1800s gas was cheap, and and now everybody's talking about all these other things, and you're like, I didn't really mean that. And so, as a Black conservative, and I do want to get into music, but as a Black conservative, the way that I broke it down at the end, once we got done dealing with it, and I said, because he was talking about how, basically you should kind of know that that's not what they mean. Like, you should know that that's not what MAGA means. And I don't agree with that, because I kind of feel like, well, like I said in the podcast, I don't believe that conservatives did that with BLM. I don't think that they went, I know what they're trying to mean, and so I'm not gonna lash back out at it. It's like, no, they were like, no, all lives matter. No, blue lives matter. It's like, well, but BLM wasn't saying nobody else matters, but so anyway, the same thing that he was saying that he wanted, progressives to do. I felt like I want liberals to do. I wanted conservatives to do, and we all should do. So, did you agree when I said it sounds like what you're saying is you want America to move forward, only taking the best parts of its history for each group of people? Did you agree with that? Or if not, what is your breakdown of the MAGA movement?
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
And I don't really know if that was more like if he was kind of saying like, okay, I'll go with that, just to like kind of
Yeah.
went up and down, like it was like,
Yeah.
wow.
It gets to that point. Yeah.
So I think it was just like, you know what, cool, if that makes sense, then we'll go with that. And that seems kind of like, I don't know, like you could get there. For me, what I was feeling was, because when you said the thing about BLM, I think one of the big things about that was, at least from my perspective,
Yeah.
it wasn't immediately the kickback that you described, but it might have felt like that from where you were coming from, right? But mine was like, what is BLM, right? My mom was already in 100%, right? She works, she's like a poll worker, and she's all about that life, but she's heavy dim, right?
Yeah.
And I still support her. I'm glad that she's active with all that stuff. And
Yeah.
I just say, whenever we have our talks, they always go political. We always, our talks about politics always go strong political than sides. But at the same time, I'm just challenging, like, I'm doing my research. I'm going off of my discernment, right? Of what I feel when such and such thing happens. I want you to do the same thing. But I also want you to look at the results and then be honest. If you're seeing results from what you believe, and then from that, what you implement into your life, and then you're going, who am I, right?
Right.
But understand that I'm doing that same thing with me, and it's working. For MAGA, I think the first thing that we have to do is I'm sorry, BLM went to the charter, started hearing weird things, right? Because at first I was just like, honestly, I was like, that's clever, that's gonna work, right? Black Lives Matter, I was like, that's gonna work. And as a conservative, I felt the power of what that was gonna do. Like, dang, this is the one, this is gonna be it. And then so people, kicking back against it, I felt was more like political, because when you're not enemy, when your opponent, right, bust that no look three, you're like, you gotta respect it.
Like, he in the zone.
When Seth throw one of them nasty ones, you gotta respect it, but at the same time,
in the zone.
What am I gonna do?
Right, you still got to get back down court.
Exactly.
Still time on the clock.
Was the best down court thing we could do. Is like, well, all lives matter.
Okay.
Blue Lives Matter was more natural and honest, to keep it 100%. I think Blue Lives Matter was more natural and honest because there were issues like cops was really out here getting struck. You know what I'm saying? There were some big things that are happening with the, not BLM, but the anti-police thing that started up. So I think that was a big deal, and it was more of a natural response to what was actually happening in the streets, where BLM versus All Lives Matter was more political, volleying back and forth. But when I was hearing the different things on, and it was drama, because people, they expose the website, this is what BLM's really about, and then this is what the people are about that are behind it. And this happened fairly early on. But nobody really knew, and even me, I was like, okay, that's wrong. They're exposed. Where's the money? You know what I'm saying? That's what I was trying to get to.
Okay, hold on real quick. Right there. So So I agree. So here's an issue that I might have.
Mm-hmm.
Where I look at BLM, because to me, I know he was saying it couldn't be separate, but I do believe that for a lot of people, there's a separation between the corporate group that created it and the trademark, if you will, meaning to the person, right? To the people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Whereas, like let's say you just said like white power. White power to one Caucasian person might just mean like, yeah, I feel like we should be able to say white power. They say black power. That's cool. No problem with that. Another person says white power might mean kill them. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I do believe that there can be a separation. So when I hear people talk about BLM, first thing I think is BLM as a statement was, like you said, organic.
Mm-hmm.
It was because of Trayvon. It was because of, we didn't go down the list, all the people that are getting killed, even unarmed, sometimes walking, whatever. So that was organic.
Yeah.
But the issue was like, that's too specific, one, because all lives matter. Then the second was, and the people that are doing it, y'all been figured out where's the money, right? On the flip side, to someone that's kind of in the middle, almost like criticizing both, I look at, okay, well, MAGA has Trump behind it, basically, right?
Yeah.
MAGA is, you could argue, okay, it's kind of been figured out that there's been a misappropriation of funds. There's been schools that weren't really schools. There's been campaign finances that they're like, oh yeah, that didn't ever go to anywhere. So y'all kind of got duped if you put in money on this particular thing. And that's been investigated, but it doesn't seem. Can you hear me? Okay, I thought I was.
Yeah.
Cool, but it doesn't seem like people are giving them both a equal. Okay, y'all showing y'all true colors. I'm starting to not trust in this, and I'm starting to not trust in this. It seems like if you're on the blue side, you're like, I mean that's bad, but what about MAGA? And if you're on the red side, you're like, I mean, yeah, he did that, but what about BLM? It's like nobody's like, hey, maybe both of these things have some negative corruption in them, and they both should be, looked at with a finer scope. Your thoughts?
Yes, and this is where I'm going to give you, or not give you, I apologize. This is where I'm going to give BLM some grace, but also kind of lift the veil at the same time. Because MAGA, hold on, player, hold on.
All good.
So the difference between those two statements are MAGA was like a campaign slogan, right? For a particular candidate. And there's a whole political movement specifically tailored to a campaign, presidential campaign. So yes, it was a movement. Yes, it was a big uprising of people that felt like they were unheard or left out by popular culture or what have you, or where we were moving as a country. Sure. But it was a campaign slogan. BLM wasn't. But here's the issue. The people in the street yelling BLM, and this is where I think you're saying that it has to be separated, is the people in the street saying BLM aren't the same people that are the apparatus behind it.
Exactly.
But they took it, they built it, so they get to do whatever they want with it, to keep it real.
True.
But it was sold as this thing for Black folks to cry out, to let the world know, we need to shine a light. Well, there's a light on it, but we need to direct the entire attention of the country to this in a very, very tangible and real way. And once you got the passion of the people behind it, the claws of the political, monster, they artificially made it a campaign slogan for every campaign, right?
Yep, this is true. It's a good point.
Now it's similar to the Tea Party, right?
Yeah.
BLM is more similar to the Tea Party in my eyes than the MAGA movement, right? Or the MAGA phrase.
Yeah.
But just to get straight to to what MAGA means, I think I put it in the comments there. And what I was trying to say without using 700 words was that when you say make America great again, I think there is an idea in the body politic where there was an understanding that the tenets of America, the Constitution, the founding of America had principles and was tied to something that's real and works and is fair to everyone. But when it was started, there was too much human nonsense that wasn't allowing everyone to have it, right?
Okay, I can see that.
Because when you say, for example, when you say all men are created equal, all men are created equal.
Right.
Now, if you say all men are created equal, and then you don't treat all people equal, the document isn't wrong. You're wrong because you're not living up to it.
Right. What if the document states that you're not? The reason I can do that is because you're not human.
But it still says all men are created equal. So then the fight is these are men, right? And that was a part of the thing, right? I'm a man, right? I mean, that's way late. That's
Yeah.
a whole different fight. But we are men, okay? So that document is cool, man. And I would love to talk to you one time about like the 3/5 compromise and what that means, because there's still people who take something to that I feel is just it's off. You're not understanding it properly. But so if you say all men are created equal, and today we agree that we're all men, then that document is not flawed. The flawed thing is the people that are interpreting that and then changing it and doing what they want with it. Sort of like I'm a man of faith all day long.
Yep.
So we see people take the word of God and flip it and remix it and do all kind of things to it. But that's not the word of God that's doing those things. The word of God is rock solid. We just need to check the people that are taking it and flipping it and doing what they want to do with it. So when I look at the founding documents, for the most part, I believe they are solid documents. I believe they work. And that's why when you see a lot of the fights in the civil rights movement, you're challenging America, because if you live in this country that's this evil empire that is like, you're going to be a subservient class, we don't care, you're nothing, then what are you can't appeal to those people, right? The civil rights movement makes no sense. Based on what are you asking these people to treat you fairly? It goes back to those documents. You have said X, Y, and Z in this country. This is the rules that you set, and you're not abiding by those rules. And so that's why I think that those documents, we got to hold on. I mean, got to hold on to them. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but that's what our ancestors held up as. We are humans, we are men, we are women, we are not some underclass. We are equal to you. You owe us X, Y, and Z. Just like you have access to that, we want that too. If whether we think we have full access to that today or not, that's, I believe, where this argument is, right? And where we go back and forth. But I think the documents are spelled out very plain. And if everybody felt they were getting what those documents say we're entitled to get, then we would be in a good place. And so in history, when I'm thinking make America great, when was it ever good for Black people? What I would say,
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Because nobody wants to hear.
You about to open a big door.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
You about to open a big. I'm trying to get to music. I'm just gonna let you. I'm trying to get to music, but you're gonna open a big door. Go ahead.
And I got a time limit, so
I already know.
I might be doing something that I shouldn't be doing. but great. Well, there was a moment in history where Black people were where they felt and they believed that we now could attain the American dream, right? This is what I mean for Black folks. You mentioned things. Dang, I don't want to misquote you, baby. I won't quote you. I'll say something else. So there was a time when black folks couldn't read, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
It was
but
against the law.
correct.
Right.
Yeah, not that we couldn't read. It was against the law to
Right.
read.
Right. We ain't
So
know nothing, huh?
no. Let's keep it 100%,
Keep it
right?
gangster, yeah.
Yeah. So we, it wasn't like, oh well, I'm just not going to read then. Like we have some of the most brilliant writings. We have some of the most intelligent people that came out of that. And then, not that that's okay. I don't want to go back to that. 0%. That's crazy.
Right.
But there was this pursuit that we've now turned and coined, that I think that we so wrongly have now said this is respectability politics.
Hmm.
And when I look back on that time, man, I'm encouraged, I'm inspired that the idea was like not go get shirts printed up that say slogans on them, but it was like, let's get out here, be professional,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Let's speak using the founding words in the documents that started this nation. Let's trust in God as we do this, right? That was an amazing thing in our because we had hope in what this is supposed to be, this experiment of America, what it's supposed to be. And some of the greatest things came out of that. Some of the greatest minds. I don't mean, oh, in the struggle, bring back the struggle because we work so hard. I mean, out of the struggle came minds that were next level and successes that are incredible. And from where I sit, I'm saying we need that. We need that because it was a JFK was ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying in your house, right? For your children. We don't need to rely on anything. We don't need someone to come save us or give us something. And that's where we get into the nitty-gritty of the political side. Like, what do you want from your politicians? What do you want logistically to start happening to even this playing field out and all that kind of stuff, right? And I
Right.
think
Right.
where our opinions are we've been, from a black person's perspective, we've been kind of riding one way. And are we happy? I would say no. You know?
And I'm with. I
No.
think we're gonna have to get you
Yeah.
obviously back on the show because we're gonna
Yeah.
go deeper into all of it. I
Yeah.
I will say this because you made a really great point
Talk to me.
about the great minds and the intelligence. I mean, we crafted a whole art form, you know what I mean, of blues, and which built and developed into multiple genres that we see right now. You can argue that even hip hop has legs that are connected back to blues and telling personal trauma stories. Um, so I think the question would be,
Yeah.
if we were able to ascend to that height in the midst of oppression, how would we have been without the oppression? And so then I think when people, when the conversations look backwards, I think it's hard for a lot of people to see the glory, even if you're talking about Tulsa or you're talking about whatever, any part that you pick out, you're like, yeah, but these are roses through the concrete,
Mm-hmm.
right? Imagine there's no concrete. Then you have
Mm-hmm.
a field of roses. Look how
Mm-hmm.
much further families are now. Look how many black people actually are in agriculture or in industrial markets or own businesses. Like, look how much further along we are as a people if you don't have that. And I think the weeds of that, which one doesn't necessarily have to negate the other, but the weeds of it make it hard for both sides to see when it's like, let's go back, but let's not go back to CRT. Let's not do that, because that's a back to a different thing that creates a this going forward. But let's go back to this that could create a thing. Like, let's say, talk about the times where maybe the documents were written a certain way, and and it was supposed to be some, a certain way, but instead of looking at what that did or how that made you feel, just skip over that, but let's still look at it. And I know I'm kind of glossing over a little fast, and I'm only doing that because I know we short. You may only have 10-15 minutes, and I do want to I do want us to save enough meat on the bone,
Yeah.
so we can have a smorgasbord next time.
Yeah. Man, I hope I'm not saying it. I hope that I can figure out a way to say this differently, because two things. When you say what would it look like without that, we would have the field of roses.
Yeah.
I feel that we have the field of roses. Like, we need to believe that and do that. Something crazy like in COVID, you see this crazy spring of Black businesses just blowing up, right?
Yep.
Which is making more people understand business, right? Which is allowing us to realize, at least in some of those circumstances, that what was blocking us from the free market and getting out here and putting our ideas to work, you've had a business since I've known you.
Yeah.
I've had a business since we met. We were both, business owners.
Almost 2 decades ago.
Come on, fam. So a lot of people are realizing that, and it's only, like you said, 2 decades ago. They're just realizing it now, 2-3 years in the making.
Yeah.
And it was because of necessity, because you could have started that business pre-COVID, right? But something made you think you had to go clock in every day, and you had to do it a certain way, until that was snatched from you, right? Then it was like, oh, what was always there, right?
Yeah.
Now realize, when you didn't have the other option, you had to go this way. I believe that freedom, I believe that access was always there. You could have done it 20 years ago. You understand? Maybe you weren't allowing your mind to get creative enough to think of this idea, or to see the problem that COVID created, to try to build something to meet a need that was created through this issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel that freedom, starting a business, helped me understand things much differently. When the tax bill comes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I hear is, and Black folks, we got to stop fighting viciously against each other for having different opinions, right?
That's a big fact.
Because
that's a big fact.
These conversations are not new.
Right? At all.
But check this, we had brilliant minds. I would never put me on the level of a Frederick Douglass, right? Not that it's out of respect.
Yeah,
right?
I understand.
Somebody tell me you a king, all that kind of stuff. No, it's all good. I got a family. I take care of mine. I'm a man, right? But I have a reverence and a respect for Frederick Douglass, even W.B. Du Bois, that I disagree with. You know what I'm saying? But I feel him, because his idea in the time, just being able to reach a level of intelligence and critical thought, and then respect another brother to have debate, trying to figure out the solutions while you're really in the face of direct opposition. I gotta respect, man. And if we kept raising up our people we respect these folks, let's have them come and have these debates, let's talk this out. It would be great. So I think this bridge is burned, but Killer Mike, Candace, T.I., I watch that all the time. right? I watch it all the time. I watch and I listen. First off, Killer Mike just dropped the album, right?
Yes.
Michael, I don't know
Yes.
if you checked
I haven't heard it yet, but I will be
out.
listening.
Okay, and
I will be listening.
let's talk about it, right? Like
Yeah.
after you check it out, I'll come on and we can talk about that.
Absolutely. I would love that.
He's one of my
We
favorite
could do a
rappers.
lyric breakdown.
Yeah, there we go. He's one of my favorite rappers, and he did something crazy in the music business in 03 that I thought ruined his whole career, but it actually made him into a much better businessman and I would argue artist. So I watched how he is able to. T.I. is more of like just natural emotion, streets. He knows what the streets are feeling, so he just say it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Candace Owens is the rebut to that.
Yeah.
So people, we can't be that offended by Candace Owens. And I would tell you, dude, there's so much that I'm like, baby girl, fall back. You're not hitting the mark, right? Like, just fall back.
You're not hitting the mark. That's hilarious.
Her feistiness,
yeah.
I see that same equivalent when I listen to one of my aunts or somebody on the other side. They're attacking, no mercy, right? And I'm like, okay, I understand why you're like that, but now allow someone else who's tempered to come in. She's also fairly new to the conservative whatever.
Yeah, definitely sure.
She's got this status.
Right.
You still fresh, baby girl.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we've allowed ourselves to not even acknowledge a voice like a Thomas Sowell.
Yeah.
Let's just have him up there. He's still alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's an OG. I think he might be like 80, almost years old or something like that.
Beautiful years, yeah.
But we should have kept that voice and say, listen, we need some results. Show us how, X, Y, and Z is going to happen. But this voice is still respected. We should be hearing about him on Black History Month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like the whole thing about giving people their flowers now, we got people now. We let Herman Cain checked out. Whatever he said politically, we don't agree with. Whatever, that was a great African American Black story. That man was great. We should have lifted him up. And I'm pro that.
Yeah.
I'm on all levels. And if we did that, obviously, when we talk about music or politics, we got to show way more love to each other, because
way more love.
Like we're not giving each other that love like that. And then the political thing would be, it would make more sense. But Killer Mike, man.
All right, hold on. Time check. Check. Where you at? You good? Like 5? 5 more?
I'll give a good 8. You feel me?
Good 8. Okay. So if I got a good 8, I'm gonna switch gears because we're gonna get into everything that you just said.
Yes, sir.
In episodes to come.
Yes, sir.
But my man Mike, Dub City Woodward, as y'all hear, very intelligent, brilliant man. One thing that he can't show you just sitting here is that he's a ridiculous drummer. One of the best drummers I've ever met, and I've had bands, I've ran events where I had multiple musicians every week, every month, and still one of the top guys ever is my man Dub City. So my question,
thank you.
I know that you relish in the history of music. I know your favorite music artists of all time. I know that you rock with the funk bands of all time. So my question to you, top 5 male R&B groups of all time. I knew you thought I was gonna go funk with. I ain't gonna make it easy on you. I ain't gonna make it easy. Top 5
not a good. This is not a good one.
Okay. Would you rather funk groups? Would you rather funk?
No. We gonna do the challenge. Okay.
I respect.
I'm just gonna put in a note so that I remember what I say. Right? I don't want to say it and then you check me on one of them. And I'm like, I don't even remember why I put them in there. top 5.
But this is good because you only got 8 minutes. That I can't debate. I'm not gonna debate. I'm gonna just hear you out.
What's the criteria? Does mint condition count?
Yeah.
Okay, so it can be a band.
It can be a band. We will allow it. We will allow it.
Man,
They just need to be I will say this. They just need to be recognized as a group. Like I would even allow like like Frankie Beverly and Maze. I wouldn't allow that.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't allow that because
that's a band. That's strictly a band, not a group.
Right.
Yeah, but mint condition counts because they gonna be on.
Counts.
Okay. Dang. Okay. So you said 5. I'm gonna put mint condition is there. We'll figure out that.
Okay.
Dang. Boys and Men.
Come on.
Like easy.
Yes.
Yes.
Boys to Men, ABC, BBD. There's 2 more right there. I'm just saying, if you wanted them, they just gave you 2.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, man. Good. And I'm gonna keep it true. I do not listen to R&B groups like that. Like
I'm gonna throw some names out there to you. We're gonna go Jagged Edge, 112.
Yeah, 112.
Drew Hill.
That feels like it's all from like the same.
It is. That's my Jodeci.
I gotta put Jodeci in there
because R&B had its run, so it's like even now, I don't really know any R&B like traditional R&B groups now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Dang. Let's see. Okay, so where we at right now? I got mint condition, Boys to Men. I definitely agree, Jodeci.
Okay.
I'm thinking of a bunch of single acts right now, which is messing that up.
And you got your female groups.
But you specifically male?
Oh, no, I just say male.
You said male, right?
My bad. Male. Yes. Top 5 male R&B groups of all time.
Okay. Man.
Let's see. Let me.
Hey, it's cold because I'm thinking. I'm thinking Candy Rain, but that so for real ain't real.
Right. No, it's like they had that one song.
Because that song hit, bro.
I love that because R&B had some of those groups though, where it's like you'd be like, oh yeah, they were crazy, and if you tell them, well, name like 3 songs, you'd be like,
Yep.
You got one. I think there was this second one. By the time you get to third, you're like, I don't know.
Nah, they wasn't it. My bad.
I should have never said
anything. What group is Gerald Levert from?
Levert?
Yeah.
Levert.
What was it was like.
No, I thought that was the name of the group, Levert.
Oh, it was Levert. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Putting them in there.
Okay. And what about your what was it?
One more?
LSG? What was that name?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That was a different group. That was
and then LSG is separate because that's Johnny Gill. Is it?
Who was it?
Well, LSG. Is it Levert Gill?
Now I said it. Now I'm like, hold on. Who was it? LA? You know why? Because I got mixed up with acronyms because I was thinking about the group that had like Tank and Genuine.
Oh.
And then, so when I said LSG, I'm like, hold on, that's the wrong letters.
Okay. That was it's Johnny Gill, Keith Sweat, and Gerald Levert.
There you go.
I'm gonna just say Levert because I remember LSG, but I think what I'm feeling is just straight Levert.
It's Levert. You got Belle Biv DeVoe. Who else? What other?
Oh, New Edition.
New Edition.
So
Come on, I take us someone to come on. How we get to LSG before we say new edition? We should be sacrificed right now.
So where would I put this, man? Because
so you got 5.
I got 5.
Okay.
And mint condition does look a little weird on this list now. But
I had when you you know what? It felt like my boy with his number 5 pick.
Yeah.
But
who did he say? Oh, he said Beyonce, right? Beyonce. I feel like Beyonce should have been a special mention.
Right.
Right.
Like sometimes you be coming with it.
Bro, I was thinking about that, and I was like, if I was talking to Cash right now, he would lose his mind on mine, because I was like way off.
What?
Not in a bad way. I was just different.
Completely different.
Pretty much old school. And then number 5 was probably wilder than Beyonce. And I was like, if I did it, I'm gonna do that as a special mention. So we'll talk about the one day.
Next one we're gonna do the females.
Dang, so I'm gonna do Boyz II Men number 1.
Boyz II Men number 1. Got to. I mean, they're classic.
Period.
They're classic.
I'm not even going. Yeah, it's not even a thought, actually.
I kind of feel like I hear your number 2. I feel like I hear it.
I gotta respect New Edition though.
Yep, that's what I thought you were gonna say.
And because I feel like now, man, I'm keeping mint condition. I'm keeping them because they songs is like, man, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, the band, I'm cheating.
Yeah,
because I'm hearing guitar solos right now, bro. I'm gonna do 3 is gonna be Levert.
Okay.
Because that's soul, man. Man, yeah. So I'm gonna do Levert. I'm gonna do Jodeci as number 4, and then I'm gonna let Mint Condition stay on the list at number 5.
Stay on 5.
Yeah. That's me, man.
Brother Dub City, man, it's been amazing. Even though it was short, we still got a lot out in a short amount of time.
Yes, sir.
Please
we did
come back.
Hour, so I'm feeling it.
Right. Please come back. Please come back and rock with me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you know, pod is good.
All the time, baby.
And all the time.
Pod is good. Let's get it.
Man, I'll holler at you. Dub City. That is my guy. That is my guy. And as y'all can tell, once again, another incredible episode, a great guest, great information. I know we didn't get a chance to really dig into it like we have other times, but hey, sometimes, you got time restraints. I got to work with everybody's schedule. I appreciate anybody coming on the show, sharing your time with me, sharing your knowledge with me, sharing your passion with me, with us. The pod is good community. I respect it. And so if you need to get out of here, you need to get out of here. I'm not going to hold you. So with that being said, Cashmere, California,